Civil organization Defend Our Democracy campaign says the president has raised more questions than answers regarding the theft at his farm in Limpopo. Yesterday, Ramaphosa addressed the issue both in Parliament and during his sitting down with members of the media. Instead of answering questions, he insisted that people should be patient and allow all processes to unfold. To weigh in, I'm joined by Reverend Mosen Clough from the Defend Our Democracy campaign. Reverend, thank you very much for your time this evening. So I want to start off with the fact that you've said in your statement that you're very aware of the political context in which these allegations have been made. And I'd like you just to elaborate a little bit on that, because that really plays to the heart, I think, of the timing of the issue and the way in which South Africa would want the issue to be addressed.
Correct. Thank you, Annelie, and thank you to the listeners. Yes, the Defend Our Democracy campaign is concerned that the matter of the president comes so many years after the actual crime was known to those who report it, and seems to come smack in the middle of not only the impending report by the Zondo Commission, but as we all know, there is going to be an election within the ruling party soon. So all of this seems to give a worrying sense that we are looking at a factionalized party that seems to be at war with itself. And so how much of what is being presented to us is true and how much isn't is not clear at the moment. And so the campaign has studied what has been in the public domain, and more importantly, what came up in the media interview by the president on Friday, that goes some way into relieving our anxiety that there is not adequate transparency to this. But we do obviously want to respect the due process. We are thankful that the president is willing to subject himself to the rule of law, and that we can only hope that all of that will happen within a transparent environment, so that nothing is swept under the carpet.
So accountability and transparency are part and parcel of the president's attempts to restore confidence in government. But it seems at the moment there's a bit of an information blackout. Yes, while the president has asked the public to respect due process and to be patient while the investigations unfold, there seemingly is no reason why the president can't take us into his confidence in the meantime to, as you say, allay fears and once again get the public behind him. What do you think should happen instead of us having to wait for those due processes to unfold entirely before the president takes us into his confidence?
That's correct. You know, there used to be a day when the ruling party used to consider itself the leader of the South African community, and that it would lead by example, and it become almost the champion of all that is democratic, that is transparent, that is that promotes the equality before the law by all persons. And so we would have expected that the president would come across as championing those values, and especially because, as you say, he came into power and his presidency was marked by renewed hope that he would be a president that champions anti-graft, that champions transparency and accountability. And so we would have wanted for him to really signal that that was so, and that it is actually, there is nothing underhand that is going on. And so we are concerned that he hasn't done so, but that is sort of deferred to the police to investigate, and only then, and whenever it is that they will tell us, that there will be all of this anxiety that is unnecessary for the nation to endure until they know whether they can actually trust their president or not. I think he's losing an important moment to win the confidence of South Africans by playing his cards to his chest.
Of course, it's not anyone's position in the public to judge the president as guilty before any of the information has come out. However, this does have an impact on South Africa's democracy. What do you think is going to be the damage done to South Africa's democratic integrity given the weight of this concerning incident?
Well, first up, I think there are many questions that remain unanswered, and so it's difficult not knowing what the answers to those questions are. Whether or not the president, for example, broke the law, and at which point, and what how much. How much damage to his integrity all of this is caused. So he leaves us no choice but to wait. And I think the damage, both in the waiting but in the final report that would come, the damage to our democracy is immense. And I think the campaign has always believed that the Constitution is the only document that holds our society together, and that it's up to us all as a society to do all we can to uphold it, to particularly those in the leadership, in cabinet, and the president himself ought to be the first ones to demonstrate that to the society that the Constitution is important. I think what we see now is really damaging that kind of confidence. And if that happens, if the first citizen appears not to respect the Constitution in that sense, it will cascade all the way down to other power holders in the society, and even on the streets, it will be that way, that South Africans will not have any respect to this Constitution. And so that is a damage that in the end, once South Africans decide there's nobody to trust in this society, we're all on our own, we do what is right in our own eyes, then that will be a sad day for South Africa and its democracy.
Reverend, I hate to sound like a pessimist or a skeptic, but I think the stable doors have long been open and the horse has long bolted. This is not the first case in which a president of South Africa's integrity is being called into question. Do you think South Africans are not perhaps already long past the point of thinking that there is still right and trust and transparency and accountability? I think there's a lot of hopelessness out there.
Correct. I think if you go by the sort of, the way that our last local elections indicated the voter turnout to be very low, all of that suggests that South Africans are disillusioned by those in office, and for the first time in the history of our democracy, we have record numbers on the low side. Turning up for vote, and all of this suggests we are at a low point in our democracy. So yes, it's correct to say that South Africans have lost confidence. Now, the problem with pessimism is that once we conclude that this is the case and that there's no hope, that the trust has been so broken to the point that nobody trusts anybody anymore, then that situation will be far worse than where we are now. We are hoping that the ruling party, and especially the president, because in a sense he has taken the right sort of moves from the beginning of his presidency with regard to bring about such changes as were campaigned for by civil society before his presidency. And there is some sense in which we can say he appeared to be moving in the right direction. And I think there is a sense that South Africans are desperate for hope. It may be small, but there is a desperation. And we wouldn't want to be the ones that take away even the last flicker of hope from South Africans and say, all is lost, you are on your own. We have to believe that there is a sense in which the president can redeem himself by doing the right thing. We are thankful to note that he has agreed to step aside should it come to the point of being criminally charged. I think that's a good signal to our democracy. It will suggest, indeed, that the president does believe in equality before the law.